No, it's historical evidence. Like, there's too many cases and examples of too many artists going on tour of them saying, "Oh no, he's in it."
Okay, I believe.
Like, hey, the chat's like saying this. I'm just answering the chat. Fuck. Oh, I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. Now I need to recuperate my brain cells with grease and hot sauce. Did you have the fucking thing I asked for before? Not the thing from before, but the other thing from before. The reviews of the Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
Gimme. Please.
I thought you didn't want to suffer. Wait, hang on.
I can do one.
Let's just take a peek at the makeup one, because I just want to see what that's going to be like.
A peek.
It's an hour long. I'm not sure if you really want to do this.
Stream
Let's
marker.
see. I mean, thank God it's got chapters.
Eternals was good. I'm sorry you lack taste. Please tell me that this is a woman. Is this a woman? Jay, is this a woman?
Oh, I thought you were stating that she was a woman. No, yeah, I think so.
Terror.
You're not going to get the song the first time you hear it. After the second and third time, you're going to be like, whoa, what is this? It sounds nothing like anything that's out right now. You know, the lyrics are very...
Hey everybody, we're back with another Marvel and
Oxen ring. That's all I can see right now. Like, yeah, eyebrows and also lips and also this like unfortunate look in the camera. It's like what I expect to happen if Doja Cat put on a little bit of weight. Because I know I've seen this girl's art before. Yes, right here. This video. Okay, y'all, WandaVision off-cut creaser. Like, this thumbnail of her looks completely different to what is currently on screen right fucking now. And it is bizarre. This hairstyle does not work with her. I am terrified. And Oxring.
makeup video. Y'all came here to listen to me talk about Eternals while I do this makeup look right here. It's pretty simple, pretty cute. Slight graphic liner and some really shimmery eyeshadow. Nothing too crazy, but I felt really like, you know, that kind of like space glam kind of vibe. I was really feeling that because obviously Eternals. Don't forget, like this video if you want to see more Marvel and makeup videos. If you like my makeup content, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok or wherever. And yeah, hope you enjoy this video and prepare yourself because it's going to be a really long video because it's a really long movie. Did you know I watched this movie twice?
I hate it when people edit
the second time
to fill in the lack of personality.
But I was tired.
I hate that.
Prior to watching the movie the second time, but I did.
Oh, you mean the Vosh close-ups?
Yeah, and like the shaky cam thing. I only do that when it's warranted in my videos. Like when I'm legitimately like expressing anger.
And if you want to do your makeup while
or expressing jitteriness, you know,
it's gonna be a long video, so have fun, create a fun look. And if you create a look while watching this video, tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. Okay, on with the video.
I'm gonna tag her on Instagram, but it's gonna be a video of me taking a dump in the toilet. I created shit just like this video. We haven't seen it yet. I can't say that yet. I can think it though. Also, sorry for the audio change. Something happened with my microphone and had to use the camera's audio for a bit, so it'll go back to normal soon. Have a good.
I enjoyed Eternals a lot. I really did. I think that, it was very different. Phase 4 is kind of building up to the multiverse saga. The whole, the Marvel cinematic multiverse. No, it was very centric to the Eternals. I think they did that on purpose because they didn't want, they didn't want the Eternals to be overshadowed. And they didn't want, like, a team up film because it's already a team. It's a huge team. It's 10 Eternals. I thought it was fun though. I thought it was like really big, and I thought I had a good, emotional, intellectual journey. I really just like went into this like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm quite familiar with the Eternals in the comics because I read the Neil...
Bullshit. There's like 3 Eternals comics total. The fact that you read one is likely, especially if you went looking for it. Because this is something that hasn't happened ever. People going to go see and read comics because there's going to be an MCU film that comes out. But I can tell you right now, the storylines in question are fucking Silver Age comics. Not bronze, not gold, not modern. Get the fuck out of here with that noise. Because you're making it sound like you read a modern comic. And I know you didn't. Because they don't do tie-ins and storylines. Because they don't sell.
Gaiman comics, the Neil Gaiman, not sure how to pronounce his last name, but I did read his comics. His comics really had to deal with a storyline that is kind of similar, but not really. The Eternals actually lose their memory of ever being Eternals, and they live their life in the Marvel Comics universe in Earth 616. They've lived their life not knowing who they were, and like they kind of had like little like nicknames that have to do with their name. So like Icarus is like Icarus. Sprite actually made them lose their memory, and they didn't really adapt too much of it. I do feel like the third act was very Jack Kirby Eternals because it just felt more like that, especially visually. So, I mean, if you're looking to, watch Eternals because it reminds you of the Jack Kirby comics, I feel like you will enjoy the third act for the most part, but it's a quite original story. I'll give y'all my score at the end of this video, but yeah, I really did like it. I found a few problems with it, just a tiny bit. So that's why I wouldn't give it like a
tiny bit, it's the whole
score,
fucking bit.
But I did enjoy it, you know what I mean? Like I enjoyed it for what it was. It wasn't that bad. People are making it out to be horrible. No, it really was not.
First it was like, I really liked it. It's really that's okay. I found some problems. It's not that bad. Like you guys, it's like every time
the first
tries to shill for either Disney or Marvel or both. You got like okay, it's good. It's kind of bad, but okay, it's bad, but it's still good. You really gotta break them down and make them realize that yes, it's bad. It is totally bad.
See, it started out with those evil misogynist nerds who just don't like the fact that men and women of gay culture could be able to have new heroes that represent them. Finally! But then it's like, actually, all of these are critic reviews, so you can't blame that on the misogynist nerds. Not their fault. Literally not their fault. So, was it so bad that it's good, or is it so good that it's actually bad compared to something else even shitter?
It's just bad.
Ridiculous.
I'm saying it's like they always try to their reviews are always like bipolar, or it's just like the stages of grief. Denial, then like basically damn near all the way down to acceptance very quickly.
I'm going to go check the front door to see if my chicken's here. Not yet.
Which is something that I don't think the MCU has really ever done. I don't think we've ever started off with like words on the screen. Kind of reminded me of like, you know, classic sci-fi films that always start off with
it's so
like,
unique. Like the other movies didn't start off with words on the screen.
Yes, because Marvel films should feel like the starting crawl of Star Wars. That's what makes this one unique. Yeah.
So it's not unique at all then, because movies do that. Like it's just unique to the MCU, which is still dumb. That it ain't words on the screen, guys. Oh no! You gotta be fucking kidding me.
in the beginning, kind of like Star Wars, you know, Star Wars has that like really classic scroll of like words, and they tell you,
pay me my money. Pay me my money, I called it. Pay me my money.
The precursor of the story. They like tell you what's gonna happen or like what has happened already.
No, what the text scroll at the beginning tells you is information that happens either at the end immediately from the last episode or information that would have been clear to you from a transitioning point in the early part of an episode. So you start off at a place that is basically the new start point of the film, and then where you end at is where it carries on to the next part of the next film. Because there's always an in medias res. That's the entire point. You're allowed to start in the middle of the action, so that you don't spend your time having to wait and watch for the plot to happen. You are, but you don't feel like it, because you started in the middle of the action. Best case example of this is exactly what happened with the Rise of Skywalker. The idea that we're going to start in the middle of a chase sequence, getting some important detail that we were supposed to get from a person we've never seen before, who just happens to have this. Or the fact that you go to the visits on Coruscant. Or any of the things that happened on Jakku concerning Rey's backstory. All this shit only matters if, in the context of the scene, we understand what's happening here. In the case of the beginning point, you know, you compare them to the originals, you kind of have to do that, because new character, new start, new story. But then in the in medias res portion of the second film, we have to have things make sense, and unfortunately, now that we actually have it as a rule of law that it is 100% written schlock, and then we have admittance from people whose NDAs have ran out, that they were fighting 3 different versions and visions from Abrams and Johnson and Kennedy herself. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we get it. We get it.
To this movie, so I think including that was essential, because I feel like if we did see the Eternals, you know, like come from Olympia, I feel like that would have been another half hour of the movie. It's 2 hours and 37.
So what you're saying is that it's poorly edited, because they could have found a way to make that possible.
Mm-hmm.
Every scene you describe is a scene that could have been made shorter somehow. You just didn't take the time to find it, and so you decided to do something even shittier with more time and more resources.
It's, I believe,
$1 billion company.
So it's like the second longest movie in the MCU behind Endgame. They're not called the Eternals, they're called just Eternals. It kind of dropped the like a few years ago before they started calling it just Eternals. And like we see all of their power sets shown while they kind of defeat these deviants that were also created by the Celestial. This is like their first ever mission, and they are being led by the Prime Eternal Ajak, who's played by Salma Hayek. And Ajak has healing powers, and we see her heal up Icarus. Yeah, she just has healing powers. It's really all she really does, other than the sphere that she has given to her by the Celestial Arishan the Judge. He gave her a sphere that is like in her sternum, and it gives her the ability to contact Arishan and talk to him. The others can't talk to him. So second in command comes Icarus. Icarus is kind of like the Superman figure of the Eternals. He's kind of like Ajax second in command. I think she trusts him out of all of them the most, and he, you know, shoots laser beams out of his eyes, and he flies. I kind of like the way he flies. He flies like a little like straight line, like he like lands like this. Like his scenes visually looked really cool. Cersei is played by Gemma Chan. Oh, I forgot to say him. Icarus is played by Richard Madden, aka Robb Stark from Game of Thrones.
Okay. And
Game of Thrones fans, y'all are eating good, okay? Cersei is played by Gemma Chan, and she actually previously played Minerva in Captain Marvel. Funny, we were just talking about Captain Marvel, but she was wasted in that movie. Like, I don't understand why they casted her for such a
I mean, everybody was, so
like, why they cast her for that? She was really good as like a leading role in this film because she does have a lot.
No, she wasn't.
Her powers are more matter changing, so she could change like a rock into metal or like
everybody.
a rock into sand,
It's not.
water,
It's not. Everybody sucked in that film in Eternals,
cool
except for the Indian guy.
Another
He's the only one who didn't suck.
Powers aren't as
Not
like, big and grand as everybody else.
Kamal or whatever the fuck his name is.
Can, like,
his assistant.
Kumal?
Was the only good character in that movie.
You mean Kumal Nanjiani?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I didn't know. But not him.
From his hands and his fingers,
the assistant.
Like, finger guns, and he just like that's all it is, and he just does this like power ball of like fury and just like does that too. Kingo is played by Kumail Nanjiani. He's like a comedic actor. They really made him the comic relief of the film. Makari is a speedster, and listen, I'm biased, but I love Makari, and I love the way her speed looks in this film. I think it looked really
Another
cool.
fucking Makari dick rider. Oh my god.
Seen Speed.
She's putting me to sleep, but not really, with her bullshit.
With Pietro.
What is with people simping for Makari, and why is it somehow tied to her being the best speedster? Do you understand? Because I don't. Because every argument I've ever heard literally was, Makari's the best because she's obviously faster than ... And then bullshit.
And then in WandaVision with fake Pietro and Tommy, aka Speed. But I think Makari's power of like speed, the way she uses it in the film is like so good. It's so cool. It looks cool, and I feel like she uses it very differently than like any other speedster that we've seen. Obviously we're not going to mention the Flash. The Flash is on like a whole other level. I feel like Makari, the look of her speed is so good in this film that like she's like right behind the Flash for me. Like, I love Quicksilver, but
she doesn't do shit except run.
Stole the show at one point, and I'll get into that. Anyways, and
She beat death. That's basically what she does.
She's just like the Flash.
Is played by
the TV show.
Lauren Ridloff, who's a deaf actor. So throughout the movie, Makari is speaking in sign language, and it really is a really nice way to, you know, include sign language and include deaf representation. The way she delivers her lines,
but it's dumb because a deaf person, like, what if
it so much,
knowing how superpowered these motherfuckers are, what if they're fighting somebody 20 feet away and they gotta sign some shit to her to warn her about something, and they can't see the bitch and she can't hear them.
Yeah.
And she can't see their fucking their sign language because they're like 20 feet away. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you give someone who's supposed to be superpowered and capable enough to fight some really strong threats? Why would you give them a disability? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And they're robots, which makes it even fucking more perplexing. Like, why?
Why design robots with weakness? Basically, that's really as far as you have to go. Why would you design a weapon with a weakness? Why would you design any weapon that isn't prepared for every situation? With men, you could at least say, well, they are a casualty if it kills them. But every single death is closer to understanding the science that we choose to dedicate ourselves to. But considering how people choose to behave, I'm taking that as a high note of bullfoggery. I had to think about the insult I wanted to say, but no, I can't say that.
Be like around maybe 12 years old, but she's technically the same age as everyone else. Druig has mind manipulation powers, so like he can manipulate the minds of many people. You know, it's cool, I guess. It's a little scary, not gonna lie. He's played by
that was kind of the point.
Barry Keoghan, something like that. Loved him. So good. No words.
I don't know how you could love any of these characters. They barely fucking do anything.
Henry, who we've also seen in shows like Atlanta.
Because it helps them feel like they have a favorite character.
And movies like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because he voiced Miles' dad, Jefferson Davis. Yeah, his voice is so distinct, and I just, oh my god. So he's the first gay superhero, like, ever.
The first gay superhero ever created! Finally! I broke new ground!
I clapped!
In the MCU, which is really cool. His powers are technological, I believe. He can create, like, weapons easily and, like, you know, kind of just, you know, summon them and create.
He's Oppenheimer.
Not just weapons, but like technology in general.
He's Oppenheimer. On crack. With Tony. On crack. On speed! Yeah, that's not impressive. Because the fact that why would you make that character the gay character? I'm not even sure. What does his sexuality have to do with shit? Why would it matter? Is he fucking anyone?
It doesn't even make sense that these motherfuckers have feelings and sexualities anyway. I mean, they're robots! And it would kind of get in the way of their missions if they had emotions.
And like make them cool and stuff. He's like the weapon builder of the group, and he can use his weapons, of course, but he can also give his weapons to others if he wants to. Athena has like
so Iron Man,
warrior-like powers. Athena is played by Angelina Jolie. I really liked her in this role. She was really
barely did anything
good. I wasn't expecting her to be one of my favorites because, I mean, you know, it's Angelina Jolie. Like, of course, like, she's gonna be good. But I didn't expect her to be that good. Like, can summon, like, a spear and a shield. And it looks really, really cool. It's all CGI, but it looks really, really dope. Gilgamesh is played...
Doesn't have any weight, doesn't have any impression. And it was completely CGI created, but man... makes me really like this character.
By Don Lee, he has more like brute force powers, so like he can like summon like a I don't know, like he has like really powerful hands. That's really all it is. Like he has a lot of like good handwork. So you see him fight and he's like, it's so powerful in IMAX. If you ever see this movie in IMAX, if you haven't seen it in IMAX, you should. But like you can feel the theater rumble when his like powers are shown, when he like fights somebody or he fights a deviant. It's really, really dope. I really loved watching his powers in theater. And so that's all of the Eternals, really. And they're really cool. And they all have like really cool moments. None of the characters are ever really like sidelined. I feel like they all have their own moments, and that's what I really appreciate about the film, that it gives each character their moment. You know how characters all have their moments in Endgame. It's very similar to the way they have their own moments, and I think it was established very well. I just realized I didn't even put my light on right here. My glam core is off. Anyway, let's get into the actual story now that we've established the characters. So in the first scene, we see the Eternals are basically there to make things good for the humans, to advance on their own. So like Cersei can provide like artifacts because obviously she can change like their weapons into better weapons, and Phastos can give them better weapons himself.
Even though they weren't supposed to be involved with anything not involving
other
fucking deviants, but they still
about history,
got involved with the humans
so, like, little
and
things in the
improved
MCU's
their
Earth
technology. It
have
doesn't make any
changed
fucking
to
sense.
be impacted by the Eternals, so I thought that was like really like cute. They didn't really do anything to change the MCU history of like the heroes. So if you were scared that that might happen, that like some of your favorite characters might be influenced by the Eternals and like things would change because of them being in MCU now, you don't have to worry about that because they don't really have anything to do with other like Avengers or anybody,
which is actually a detriment to the film, not a positive.
They do mention them a little, but they don't really interact with any of them, which is really nice that this movie has like that standalone factor, that this movie can
because considering what the fucking plot is and why they're there and their mission and all this shit, it doesn't make sense that they're not involved with Avenger shit. In fact, they should have built them up when the Infinity War shit started. They should have been building up to this, like to the Eternals movie. That's when it should have started. But they just dropped this shit in and said, "Oh well, we didn't get involved in the Thanos shit because it didn't have anything to do with deviants." And just even despite the fact that we need the whole planet running on Duracell batteries with all the humans here, like because we need enough energy from the Earth to create a celestial, we didn't help out the Avengers in preserving humanity at all. So like, it doesn't make sense either way. It doesn't make sense that they didn't, because they have feelings. It didn't make sense that they didn't use their, like they didn't grow a conscience and be like, yeah, fuck it, we're helping out. And it doesn't make sense that the villain, the fucking guy in the sky, whatever his fucking name is, that he didn't force them to get involved despite the fact that, despite the orders. Like maybe put some manipulation into the mix. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense either way.
Avengers, like certain movies. So if you were worried about that, don't be. I think you'll still enjoy it, that this is so separate from the MCU and like the MCU's lore. Throughout this film, we jump around like from present to past, so we get like big glimpses of like their past and what they've gone through, a lot of the past, but I feel like we should have gotten a little bit more from that. I feel like we got a little bit more of the past. It would have been easier for audiences to feel more of that emotional connection, and I do feel like a lot of people's reviews that I've seen, they don't have that like instant connection to any of the Eternals, or like the Eternals themselves, or even,
and plus you don't need to see their past to have connections with them. You just make good characters.
Well, that's hard.
And have us understand their motivations,
if we did get
or make them relatable in some way, or likable. I don't know.
Their evolution, like up till now, up to the present story, I feel like we would have gotten like a little bit more of that, and then we would have been a lot more connected to them, because I feel like that is definitely missing, especially with certain characters. So yeah, so Cersei is pretty much the
how do you I'm not even gonna ask
lead of this film. She's the very like
not even gonna ask
internal that all the responsibility really falls on her. So she's a teacher in the present, and she's dating Dane Whitman, played by Kit Harington, and he's going to become the Black Knight, and we'll get into that in the post-credit scene. So this scene really establishes
what is on her forehead.
Sprite's desire also to become an
foundation.
Older being. She creates like an illusion of her older self at a bar. So like this scene right here where like they're celebrating Dane's birthday, they kind of,
for a second there, it looked like brown cum.
Like established that like desire, and we see a little bit more of that later in the film, but I do think that adding that was a little bit necessary. But I feel like if they added a tiny bit more to that, I feel like we would have gotten a little bit more of an emotional connection with Sprite's storyline. Dane, Sprite, and Cersei, they discover a deviant. They thought that they defeated the deviants thousands of years ago. They didn't. They're back. While they're fighting the deviant, They realize that the deviant has healing powers, so Icarus ends up flying in and saving the day until they can escape. We get the scene of Dane and Icarus meeting, and it's established here obviously that Icarus and Cersei had a relationship prior to this relationship that she has now with Dane. So we finally see Jon Snow and Robb Stark interact, and it was so great. So here is where like Cersei kind of like explains where they've been and why the Eternals exist to Dane, and she kind of just like explains that they weren't allowed to intervene with human conflict. Cersei has like, she's daydreaming and reminiscing about her and Icarus's relationship, long-term relationship. They were married at one point. I love this flashback. First of all, you see this like little cut to like the family of the Eternals, and they're all like taking a group photo kind of thing, and they all have, if you look at that photo, if you look at them, they all have different reactions to the marriage. Like Ajax over there crying because she's like the mother of the group, and then Sprite's just mad as hell because she is in love with Icarus. Also, a really weird plot point that I would like to discuss later. It's really cute how like they show their personalities in just that one shot, and I thought it was really cute. We see a lot of Cersei and Icarus's love story, and we also get the first sex scene in the MCU.
First sex scene, because we've never had sex scenes before. Never. Not never. Never. What's Iron Man?
It's specific to the MCU, Carl. It's the first in the MCU.
Is it? I'm pretty sure I saw Tony fucking people.
Oh, right. But that was just like them rolling around. There was no thrusting, and they weren't half naked and, really wooden and dead behind the eyes, so it didn't count.
I don't care personally, but a lot of people did. A lot of people cared about this sex scene, and it really was not that deep. It was not that serious. People really dragged that to the end of the earth. It was like 10 seconds of them on top of each other. No nudity involved, not even a little bit. It was literally just like a bareback shot of Icarus on top of Cersei, and like it's very intimate. It's not overtly sexual, you know?
I wouldn't call a back shot intimate unless it's a proper back shot.
I mean, like,
and we know that the MCU is not about to put some gangster shit on the screen. So, you're gonna stop lying to me right now is what you're gonna stop doing.
Like, it's not like the beginning of Bridesmaids. If you've seen Bridesmaids, you know what I'm talking about. Every time that movie comes on and that scene plays in the beginning, you're like, oh my god, all right. No, this is like very, very intimate and very...
So softcore porn.
Very, like, a small amount of, like, the film. Like, a really, really tiny amount of the film.
So you could cut it out then.
And by the time we jump to the next scene, we literally don't even remember that it actually happened. Like,
So there's no reason to do it then.
Me when I say that was just like a fleeting scene that happened literally 10 seconds, y'all. Like, I'm not even joking. Nothing astronomical about it. People dragged it.
Well, there must be something astronomical about it, because not only were people talking about it, but also you chose to put it in your fucking film!
More of like the Eternals' like relationships with each other during the ceremony, like after they are married and stuff. Literally the most surprising thing of this film, Makkari and Druig's relationship with each other. They are so freaking cute and I love them.
Yeah, like a Disney Channel couple. Completely sexless.
This scene in particular, it was just really, really adorable. Makkari's trying to like take an emerald tablet from the people of this place because she collects stuff throughout history, and Druig is just like, you're not supposed to do that, and she's just like, I won't tell if you won't tell. And they have this moment and it's so cute, and I'm just like, he calls her he first of all, when she comes into the room, he's like, beautiful, beautiful Makkari. I said, ah! I loved it. It was...
So he's a simp!
He's a simp. I don't know, you yelling that out plus her face in that killing me. He's a simp.
Well, that's at least a screenshot. And I didn't even intend on doing that on purpose.
It was everything to me personally. I felt like life was made. I felt like I didn't live up until that moment because it was that serious.
Like a teenage girl.
Love them. Icarus and Cersei, big whoop. Makari and Druid, yeah. But it's very important that we had that. It's very important that we had that.
Who the hell? I don't even know what character she's talking about. That's how bad.
Just because
that's how shitty the character writing in that movie is.
Yes.
Were in the past, and we also need to see how like this has led up to this moment. They discover that Ajax was actually killed by the deviant who had the healing powers. Pro is voiced by Bill Skarsgård. Why? I don't know. He's barely in the movie, but
Bill Skarsgård.
That's why his voice sounded so fucking yeah, the talking deviant. No wonder he sounded so goddamn familiar.
He's voiced by Bill Skarsgård, and I was like, okay, all right. Once they find Ajax's body's like purely gray, and like she's just like kind of looking like dead Vision. That was also a hint right then and there. The fact that she turned gray, she's like, that was also another hint. So Ajax's fear that allowed her to connect to Arishem the judge, it flies into Cersei's body, and we see like a scene of her with Arishem the judge, and he is big as hell. He is scary, okay? Really, really big. Guys, he's literally like this big.
How big is he? Is he this big? How big is it? I'm doing a bit.
And then this little, the in between my fingers is Cersei. Massive.
CGI. CGI. Ooh, my chicken's here.
Get that chicken, George.
I'm fairly certain of only two things. Either one, I just terrified the shit out of my driver by opening it up, my door, when he was putting my food down. Or, that man was very, 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 very high. Lanky, white, squirrely as shit.
Massive, and I was scared for my life.
You were scared for your life because of a film.
They kind of like, you know, do the math, and they're like, okay, well, Cersei is now the Prime Eternal because the spear went into her, it didn't go into Icarus, which is kind of confusing to the audience because we're like, why choose Cersei? Like, what the hell? So that's also another hint to what happened. Flashback to, you know, another era of time where war is happening, and then we discovered that Athena, the Angelina Jolie character. Okay, I'm gonna literally keep cutting back to me, like editing me, because I keep forgetting to talk about these things. Like, hello, Athena, her character was criminally underused, just like the deviants. So underwritten. Literally, we could have gotten so much more of her character. You know, they're all talking about, oh, like, she's gonna lose her memory, so she's gonna lose the sense of self, and she's not gonna be the same Athena. Well, who's that Athena? Because we don't know her. We have no idea what her personality is like. She's only been in, like, little ensemble scenes with, like, the rest of the group. we've never had a one-on-one of Tina the way we've had one-on-ones with Icarus, Ajax, Cersei, you know, like the rest of the squad. Same thing with Makari, and we probably won't even get to that. I probably won't even talk about that because I completely forgot. But that's also another thing that really pissed me off about the movie, is that some of the characters really did not get the same development as others.
It's called screen time, baby.
Is discovered
Top billing! And not enough people had it. That's the problem with ensemble films. Less characters. Less characters.
I have this phenomenon called Mad Weary, and so Mad Weary kind of like it happens to Eternals who lose their mind and like sense of self because of like, the amount of memories they've like accumulated throughout the centuries, and so Thena remembers things that hasn't happened to their knowledge, so like they kind of just like, what the hell, like what just happened? So she loses herself and attacks them, so attacks all the Eternals, and they kind of just like come to the conclusion, well, Ajax comes to the conclusion to, you know, rid her of
Ooh, whoa. One bit.
the burden of that and just rid her of all the memories that she's ever had. And then they're like, no, let's not do that because it'll change Thena forever, like she won't be the same. And so they decide not to because Gilgamesh offers to kind of protect her. Up until this point, you know, protect her till whenever, you know, till the end of time. So Druid kind of just like is just like, no, I'm tired of not intervening with the war that's going on with the humans, because he doesn't like to see war, and he could easily change that. They could all easily stop war, but they can't because the Celestials don't want them to. Druid like also like starts to doubt his trust in Ajax.
So non-controversy. We can't do anything because our hands are tied, but we want to. But we won't do anything.
And so he leaves and like manipulates the mind of like what was happening in the war, and like he basically takes everyone and just leaves because now they're not fighting anymore. They're like, they just leave. And so Ajax kind of proposes the fact that they should just like all separate and they should all leave because all the deviants up until this point, they've all been destroyed and they have no other purpose other than listening to Arishem and waiting for Arishem to bring them back home to Olympia, which is the planet that they are from. So that happens. So that's why they end up leaving. They haven't been together since then. And so they've all lived very separate lives. Obviously, we know that Sprite is just like a kid, basically. And Icarus, God knows where he's been because he left Cersei for mad long and just like left her. That's why she's dating this new guy. And then, you know, Cersei's teaching. So they find Kingo, and he is actually an actor. He's a really popular Bollywood actor. We jump into this scene.
Didn't he not want to do this scene?
Nope. You can see it all over his face throughout the whole scene. He said he was tricked into it.
He looks like a cartoon.
Yeah. All them damn steroids.
Oh, more than just that. Like his face. He looks like a cartoon.
I know.
Like a Bollywood sequence. It's really, really cute. And here's where it's established that he's the comic relief of the movie. And let's just say that the inclusion of his comedy really, really picks up the film and makes it feel more MCU. He's the most MCU character.
So what you're saying is, you allow Kamal and Johnny to run his mouth. Just like you let a lot of characters run their mouth. And you call it comic relief. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's more annoying than you think it is.
This film, he really has this like, you know, this like energy to him that just really comes off as like MCU funny beats, you know. He's just there cracking jokes.
Annoying?
And he can be serious at times, but he is there to crack jokes and like, you know, make the audience laugh and stuff. Yeah, it's not that bad. It's pretty good. I laughed at most of the scenes, so I'm not complaining, but you know, there's always gonna be like a Marvel character that like is the comic relief. He also has his trusty valet Karun follow him around, and he is adorable. He needs to be protected from everything in the entire world.
Only thing I agree with so far.
Loved this character so much. He was so like so minor of a character, but he just added something to the film, and I don't know what it is, but I just really liked it. The parts about
humanity. He added humanity by being a human.
His movie, The Shadow Warrior,
because the other motherfuckers weren't human.
Hilarious. And so Kingo and Karun, they filmed like a documentary about the Eternals, and so you see Karun like with the camera, and then Kingo's talking to the camera. It's very similar to like Peter Parker doing his little documentary in
it's almost like they're rehashing ideas.
I liked it. I liked the fact that they included that. I feel like it added a little bit more of like, you know, that MCU factor. It really did, and I'm not complaining.
How many times is she gonna say MCU factor when she only means annoying piece of shit? I'm the one that's supposed to be doing the burping.
I do that all the time on stream.
Yes, but I'm the one that's stress eating because I'm being tortured with stupidity from the mouths of women. And as you know, as a misogynist, the one hosting the stream is the one that does the burps.
What are you eating again?
Popeyes.
Oh,
I just downed a chicken sandwich. Tasty. I missed the space bar.
About it at all. I feel like a lot of people didn't like that. That was added because of like the entire scope of the story and like what was going on. Honestly, I feel like we needed that as an audience. But Kingo, Karun, Sprite, Cersei, and Icarus, they all leave to go find Thena and Gilgamesh, and they are basically in hideout. They're just in sanctuary and solitude, living their best lives. Gilgamesh is a really good cook. He cooks all his food. He like, you know, has his own like, I don't know.
Why would robots need to be programmed with a sense of taste and culinary experience?
Because
just, he's the man of the house. He protects Thena, serves her, cooks for her, cooks and cleans. I love their relationship.
Serving a woman. Oh man, that's great. Thanks again, Nick. Another single bit.
It is so cute. It's a platonic relationship, which I really enjoyed too.
Is it a platonic relationship? Are we sure it's a platonic relationship? Did they say explicitly it was platonic?
Well, we didn't see any kissing or fucking. So.
He could also be gay, you know. He could be gay.
I mean, yeah. But they already have a gay. They can't have more than one.
Of course they can. As long as you believe with your mind.
So
anything can be true as long as you aggressively push it in articles.
There was no romance between Gilgamesh and Thena, but there was still that.
He can be the first asexual.
Probably.
That love.
Please, nobody uses his opportunities to give them ideas
for each other, and I really enjoyed that. First of all, Gilgamesh as a character was really fun. I loved his character. I loved the way he was introduced in the present, and it was so good. He's such a like sweetheart, and it kind of like it's in comparison with his brute force powers, so I thought that was really cute. And so
you mean it's
Karun,
fuck
Alfred from Batman.
It's in contradiction to his brute force.
I don't understand why there were so many DC references in this film. I know Chloe Zhao, she said that she's a fan of the DC universe, but why? Why did they do that? Because now it took me out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. It's different when it's like Star Wars, but when it's something like DC, which is a literal competitor for Marvel, that's where I'm like, all right, y'all doing too much. Because no, it just keep them separate. I don't need a mashup. Just keep them separate. I don't like that. Anyways, and here is where Cersei finally gets in touch with Erisham, the judge, and finally talks to him, because last time it was literally just like, it is time, and this is Cersei, it is time, and then now it's like, let me give you the exposition of the creation of the Eternals and the Deviants and why you're here on Earth. Literally goes on an entire tangent for like, I want to say like a good 5 or 6 or 7 minutes.
So, dog shit explanation and exposition.
Yes.
With history and stuff that we should know for the rest of the film.
So, why, instead of that, didn't they allow that exposition to be something explained over the creation of this team? Literally start it with that explanation, but show clips intersplicing periods of time of the characters and their abilities, instead of doing that dog shit. That sounds like it'd be a better idea, but I guess not.
So I'll basically just like read off what I saw on Wikipedia for this entire like short story that he told. It was long.
No, not Wikipedia, no.
It's scary as hell too, so I was just like, oh my god, I can't, like, this is giving me like, I was literally like, shaking my boots watching the scene. I was just like, Ajax knew this information before anybody, so here it is. The mission of the Eternals was not to fight the Deviants like we originally thought, but to prepare the Earth for the emergence. Arishem explains that for millions of years, the Celestials have been planting their seeds in populated planets so that a new Celestial can be born. The Celestials sent the Deviants to destroy the apex predators of the planet to ensure the development of life. But the Deviants evolved and hunted the planet's populations, resulting in the Eternals being sent to cull them, to basically take them out. Arishem explains that Earth has reached...
Yes, that's what the word cull means.
Necessary population for the birth of the celestial Tiamat. And this will result in the Earth's destruction. And when I mean destruction, they are not talking about, oh, like, you know, all life is gonna be snapped away and they'll vanish. No, Earth will literally explode.
That's what happens when an egg is destroyed via the emergence of a baby. Yes. Why are you explaining this shit to us, please? Why? And why are you making it sound like it's bigger than it is? It's the same. It's literally Steven Universe levels of stupidity. Ironically enough. Like literal episode season 1 shit.
Why weren't the Avengers like aware of this? Like, why weren't they aware that like the Earth was literally like quaking?
This plot, bitch! They didn't plan this.
Coming. Like, nobody sensed
Phase
it.
4
Like,
is
only
just
the Eternals knew about it.
Some fucking runoff.
And
some sludge.
This is happening after Thanos kind of literally almost killed everybody. Did Thanos know? Did Thanos purposely kill half the population to stop the emergency?
No, you know damn well they didn't fucking plan this. There's actually a video that speculates that very thing that I'm gonna tackle on NOC, honestly, because that is just so dumb.
You know what I mean? You catch my drift? You see what I'm saying? Like, did Thanos know?
Now, why would he explicitly state that in the Infinity War films?
Why
like,
wouldn't he just tell them?
There's like a threat coming, and I gotta wipe half you motherfuckers out. He would have just explicitly stated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really real. He's really real like that, Thanos.
There'd be so many characters that would know before he knew.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, for some reason, Doctor Strange isn't one of them?
Exactly. He's the one who predicted, oh, well, there's a whole bunch of shit and things in different realities where we could die. And somehow he didn't warn about anything. Thanos didn't say anything. But this is supposedly some ingenious thing that the MCU came up with. Come on. Can y'all think for fucking once?
Because
delusions of grandeur is not the same as thinking.
Eternals have not known of this plan because their memories were wiped with every planet that they visited. So Thena's mad weary caused the constant memory wipe and explained why she knew that they were all going to die.
This is also where Suri finds out
They
they're
arrived
basically
to
robots.
Druid's sanctuary where he has been mind manipulating the people of the Amazon for centuries to bring them peace and civilization, and this is where they try to convince Druid to help them put Tiamat to sleep to like stop the emergence from happening a little bit longer so that they can, you know, devise a plan to like, you know, save humanity, period. Like, I don't know what they were intending to do by putting Tiamat to sleep, but that was not gonna work in the first place. Like, babes, putting a celestial to sleep, you think, no, like this isn't, it's very similar to like how Mantis put Ego to sleep. It never worked out. Mantis putting Thanos to sleep.
Is he under? Don't let up.
Be quick. He is very strong.
Asshole! Tell me you didn't do it.
So, the part of that plan that's stupid there is that it was never about putting Thanos to sleep. It was about sedating him so that we could disarm him of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
A plan ruined by an over-emotional Peter Quill. A Celestial is not the Mad Titan, and vice versa. So the scale here doesn't even match up.
Never worked out. And they thought this was gonna work. You see, I wonder if they're aware of what happened in Endgame and Infinity War, because that was a dumb idea. Shortly after that, they're attacked by the Deviants, and we learn that Cersei's powers aren't as whack as we thought, because she turned one of the Deviants into a tree. She's never been able to do that. It's very confusing for everybody else because they're like, whoa, how'd you do that? And she's like, I have no idea. It's really weird. Never explained about, never talked about again. You see, little things like that. That's like, can you tell me what's going on?
Cersei, one of the many, many myths, specifically, I believe, Greco-Roman, let's just call it Greco-Roman, myths about a witch with extensive magical abilities, one of which is transfiguration and transmogrification. Yeah, not hard to figure out, especially if these are supposed to be characters, with characters like Athena, being the basis of mythology. Keep up. Keep up. You can do it. You took world history.
Like, what is happening? I have so many questions. Like, I can't even answer you any of these questions that I'm asking myself, or any of y'all are probably gonna ask after watching this film. Like, I can't answer that for y'all because I don't know. It's very interesting how this film like does this, where like they say things and then it's never explained, never talked about, never
Because they don't have time to explain it. Because if they explained it, you would realize how stupid it is.
touched on ever again. And I'm just like, alright, you know what? Whatever. So the Deviant Crow attacks Thena because Thena is like trying to like stop herself from, you know, being lost with the Mad Weary situation. And you know, Crow
How much makeup you got to put on?
Obviously is the protector.
There's more. She needs more. She needs more. She needs to be very tan.
He before
What is it with this generation and putting on all this goddamn makeup?
Her, I will protect you, and I will risk my life 1,000 lifetimes
If they want to look like Jennifer Lopez with a horse face, let them.
over. I literally.
Oh no.
This scene, the relationship between Thena and Gilgamesh, so good. I want to see more of that. If they could ever do more of Thena and Gilgamesh, I want to see it bad, like really, really bad. Gilgamesh protects her and dies in the process. Crow ends up absorbing all of his power, so the deviant kind of just like evolves a little bit more. Like he starts growing hands, he starts to breathe more human-like, and like he grunts more human-like, and like he kind of learns to speak a little bit. So before Icarus can like kill him, kind of, or like attempt to kill him, the crow deviant leaves, and just, you know, it's here where Gilgamesh dies, and he dies in the arms of Athena, and it's so emotional. Like, what the heck? I wish we had more time with Ajak and Gilgamesh for two separate reasons. Ajak, I feel like if we got more of that motherly kind of relationship with each Eternal, I feel like her death would have hit so much more emotionally. And I feel like Gilgamesh's death would have hit so much more emotionally if we got a little bit more scenes with him and Athena. I think that they purposely slid in that scene of him telling her that he'll protect her 1,000 times over, just because the audience knew that he was going to die in like 2 minutes. But yeah, now Crow has two of their powers. The healing power.
Seeing through tricks doesn't exactly mean that you're smart. It just means that you recognize patterns. And yet here you are, still cheering its praises. Which means it worked. Basic bitch.
And the brute force power, so he's already like super powerful. And so this makes him more sentient, and he evolves his own appearance, and this is where Bill Skarsgård's voice kind of comes in. Crow in the comics actually has a relationship with Athena, which is really weird. I thought that they were gonna touch on that a little bit in this movie, because there was a certain scene in the trailer that I was like, oh, they're gonna go there. They didn't, thank God. But Athena actually likes the deviants in the comics. The comics, period, most of them, especially the ones from the 60s and 70s and 80s, really weird. The classic Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, really weird. So after
that's the obligatory, man, those comics were wild comment. That is the first and last time it's ever going to get mentioned.
Gilgamesh's death, they go on to find Phastos because you know, they need more of the Eternals back together. And Phastos actually lost faith in humanity years ago after the Hiroshima bombing. Here is where I'm like, okay, Phastos didn't cause Hiroshima to happen. It was his actions to help humans evolve with technology, and the humans' choice to do that with the technology that Phastos has given them. So it wasn't his fault, but this is where he kind of detached himself from the love of humanity that he originally had for them. He originally wanted to provide them more with weapons, but you know, with Ajax's, you know, leadership, she was basically telling him no, like they need to evolve on themselves, they need to advance by themselves, just give them what they need and not what they might need in the future. Like, give them what they need for now. So this was just a result of Phastos's help. And yeah, this is where he like kind of like breaks down, and he tells Ajax like, this is not what I thought humans would be like, and they're not who we think they are, and whatever. So this is where he like kind of loses that love for humanity, until we see that he has a family, a husband, and a kid.
How many chances do you think it's gonna get through to China?
They just there was, at first they were like, we're not just, our movies banned in the Middle East and whatever, like overseas, and then like a week later they said, oh well, never mind, we just edit out certain not okay things for overseas markets. So they fucking flipped the script real quick.
It's made
because they knew this movie wasn't making any money with just the U.S. and a couple of Western countries. Watch it.
sounds a lot like what they did with Shang-Chi. But hey, as long as Simu Liu is allowed to be an asshole on TikTok, that's all that really matters.
This kid is
on TikTok. He's got a TikTok?
He has a TikTok.
Oh, Jesus. I'm gonna take a look at that shit.
He literally calls Icarus Superman, again with the DC reference, but it was mad cute. I didn't think it was that bad because I liked it in the trailer. I thought that was really cute, but it's still like, bruh, like really though, like, do we have to do that? Fastos, his like perspective on humanity has changed because of his family, and so it takes some convincing for him to, you know, go help. But his husband kind of convinces him to like go, and like they have this like really cute scene, they kiss, it's like literally like 2 seconds, and people made such a big freaking deal about it.
It's literally 2 seconds, guys. That means it's very important. Why are you so upset about this? One of these days they're gonna learn. One of these days they gonna learn.
Felt so normal. It was literally like a kiss in passing while a montage started. Oh my god.
A kiss in passing while a montage started. Oh, why did you say so?
This is a montage where like that song from Girl Interrupted, they put this song in this cute ass scene, this cute ass montage of Fastos with his family and like leaving and moving on with the Eternals, and it's just, I enjoyed it. And I love the song too. I love that song. So I was so happy that they.
I don't know what song she's talking about because I never watched Girl Interrupted.
I was really happy that they did that. So
I think it was some Led Zeppelin song or some shit.
The Domo is their big ship. There they find Makari, where Makari has been staying all these years. She's literally just been there collecting so many artifacts. It is so cute. All you see is just her speed reading through a book. I loved it. I love Makari. Makari also thinks it's best to stop the emergence, so this is when they start having a conversation about it.
She's great.
This is when things start to get a little bit complicated because all of their morals are tested. Like, why should we save humanity? And then the others are like, well, we should save humanity because humanity are the people that we love. We love humanity. And they're like, oh, well, I don't really, you know, I don't really care, but you should care. It's very much that kind of argument. You know, like,
why should we save humanity? Because they're good. Bitch, have you read these books? They made Twilight.
Those arguments that you have at the dinner table, it was kind of that kind of argument. And they think they should just stop the emergence altogether, but none of them are powerful enough to do that. Absolutely none of them. So why, I don't know why they thought that they could do that, but with the help of Fastos and his technological, you know, weapon power,
Fastos, more like Fagtos.
He thinks that, you know, he can create a collective power, or like a way to get all their powers together and create one big thing. So he creates the Unimind power, and this is also a thing in the comics that also connects them, also connects all of the Eternals in the comics as well. Okay, so here's kind of where we discover that Icarus knew about the emergence the entire time.
Who's texting you? What?
Like, he knew about the emergence from Ajax herself. We find out that they spoke about this 6 days ago, and the emergence was happening in a week. So they only had 1 day left until the emergence was about to begin, and he didn't tell any of them. Why? Because he was loyal to Arishem. He didn't want to let Ajax stop the emergence because that was her plan. She didn't want to allow that to happen. He fundamentally disagrees with her. He doesn't want it to happen. And what he does...
You mean a lot like the disagreement between Tony Stark and Captain America? Like Civil War? Is it like that? Because it was a secret, right? So we call it the Secret Wars.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to talk about her video on my stream anymore, because it seems like she's a fine person. She seems like a sweet girl, even though, despite her
a little bit of an airhead. Yeah, a little bit bad taste.
It's an hour fucking long, and I ain't got that much time.
I'm already 40-something minutes in, and even I ain't got the rest of the time to watch the last 20. I'm putting this on double time. I am Majora masking my way through this shit. I cannot be fucking bothered.
He just basically betrays her. He brings her to kind of this, I think he brings her to Alaska, and this is where the deviants are breaking out of the ice because that's where they were all this time, and so the deviants are coming back, and you know, this is where Ajax discovers that, and then Icarus basically leaves her to die there. He pushes her off a cliff, Black Widow style, Gamora style, and just lets her die.
Oh my god.
And he
Demora's style implies that he did it because compassion and ulterior motives, when this is just a plain old murder. Apparently. Plain old murder. Plain old murder.
basically staged the whole thing. It was Icarus's fault. He's the one that killed her, not the Deviants. The Deviants killed her, obviously, but it was Icarus that killed her. And this causes like a big shift in their entire relationship. He didn't even want to help any of them in the first place. Like, he was just here just to delay them from finding out where Tiamat actually was, which is terrible. He's a terrible man. I don't like him. And I was hurt. I knew it was gonna happen. This was my theory. I had a theory that he was gonna be bad. I had a theory he was gonna be a bad guy. I thought he was gonna be like Superman in Injustice. I thought he was gonna be like that. And I was right. He was. He could have easily killed the Deviants, but he didn't. Because he's a piece of shit, and I don't like him. Goes back to the group, he attempts to like attack Makari because Makari went to go find where Tiamat was, and she did, but you know, Icarus almost attacked her. He tells him like he's leaving the group, like he does not want to let them stop the emergence. So as he's about to leave, this little girl, Sprite, gets up and she's just like, I'm coming with you. Girl, what? Like, after all this time, like, girl, like, if you, oh my god, she really pissed me off, because I'm like, all this because of Icarus? Like, are you kidding me? And he don't even love you back, girl? You're sick. Like, she is crazy.
Wishful thinking. Yeah. You're a dreamer. You dream a lot. And you're
So Kingo decides to leave the group as well because he thinks that they are no match for Icarus, and he personally doesn't think that it's right to stop the emergence. He personally is on the side of where, like, he wants the Celestial to rise. He doesn't want this to happen, so he's just like, I'll see you in the next lifetime if you're still alive. You see, this, I was so like, are you kidding me? Like, they make the comic relief character somebody who doesn't agree with the group. So this is literally where Kingo and Karun, his valet, they leave. They leave them. Like, they just dip. And Karun expresses like his like love for the Eternals and like thanks them for like all their like, you know, help throughout humanity and like mankind, and like it's such a cute scene, but like I'm so sad because they leave. We don't see them during the final fight. Like, he's not there. And I'm like, bruh, are you kidding me? Remaining Eternals concluded that they have to stop it no matter what. And they have to.
It's because Nanjani wanted to get out of this film as soon as possible. I'm telling you right now, he wanted to get out of this film as soon as possible. You made me dance in Bollywood. Unacceptable. Who do you think we are, Bang Bang Theory? No, I will not stand for this.
Stop Icarus in the process. They figure out a way to manipulate the speed sternum. They take it, they destroy it, and kind of manipulate it into a bunch of rings. So now we cue the third act fight sequence that always happens in every single Marvel movie. Cersei and Druig and Makari, they use the new Unimind power to connect themselves and put Tiamat to sleep until Icarus attacks Druig, and then this is where he almost kills him. I thought he died. He didn't die. But the fact that Makari screamed for him made me want to kill Icarus. I was so mad. I'm like, no, you are not going to kill her. Man, don't do it. Crow arrives, and Dina ends up killing him out of revenge for Gilgamesh, and Ajax, and overpowers her Mad Weary, and like kind of just like comes back to Earth by herself and uses her strength that Gilgamesh gave to her. Basically, like, he provided her with so much strength and, you know, love. Then that love that she had from Gilgamesh is what gave her the strength to kill Crow, and it was so cute. Great scene, great action sequence. Crow literally got sliced and diced. It was hilarious. It was an excellent scene. Everybody was clapping after that. I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Makari beats Icarus' ass. Oh my god, she uses her speed in such an excellent way. She literally like speed punches him into the wall. Like, it is so good. It was so excellent, and visually it just looked so good. Like, wow. And this is where I could tell that Icarus isn't as powerful as they thought.
Special effects. Special effects. Special effects.
I mean, well, they can't actually do it for real, Carl.
The thing that always is gonna annoy people is this need of like, man, it looked so good. It looked so good. Guys, it looked so good though. They have billions of dollars. They're still bleeding millions of dollars every day, but they have billions of dollars. It has to look decent. Does it actually work though? In my opinion, I think maybe it could be better. Like, a lot better. But I don't think they're gonna push to be better. Not, like, they barely fucking pushed to be good in the first goddamn place.
It was literally because of Makari and Fasto's help that they really, like, ended up winning at the end. Let's go! I was, when Makari was being his, I was like...
You were like a bunch of annoying girls screaming at a party, cheering. I believe it.
Fastos overpowers Icarus with like his powers, and he like kind of like holds him down, and he goes boss, and I literally died. Cersei's about to fight Sprite. Sprite confesses that she's envious of Cersei, and that you know, she just doesn't want to, she doesn't care about humanity because humanity never cared about her because she's young, she's a kid, and she's not even a kid. Like, she wants to be an adult, she wants to be human. She expresses her like need for wanting to be human, and then Druig kind of just knocks her out. The roar of applause from the theater because Druig knocked out Sprite. He literally just went. So Cersei goes on by herself, and she attempts to freeze Tiamat, and so Cersei like turns into a badass apparently, and like turns Tiamat into ice, and then Icarus tries to stop her, but he can't. Like, he's literally like this close to lasering her, and he doesn't because he's a big baby. He is nothing. He is sick in the head. So with the power of the Unimind, she kind of gets the strength from everybody else to freeze him, and so they all like kind of rise up at the same time, and it's determined that, like, you know, the whole thing with Fastos kind of creating this Unimind bracelet was pointless because they could do it on their own, because it didn't. They also connected with Sprite and Icarus. It wasn't explained if they connected with Kingo, because Kingo is all the way, he's gone. He's not a part of this, but they do connect with Icarus and Sprite, and Icarus and Sprite were not with it. They were not with, like, allowing the emergence to happen. But they give themselves up and they basically like all rise. And now she freezes Tiamat to like a crisp. Like he's literally like this is the scariest scene. Number one, he's big as hell again, huge, and all you see is his hand from the water, like coming out like this on the water, and his head like slanted because he's about to rise out of the water. It is, oh my god, it makes me sick how big he was. And he's just living there in the Indian Ocean. Like he's just living there, like just there. Like he's just gonna be there forever until God knows when, if he ever emerges, but he's just there. After that happens, Icarus just ends up leaving, gets all emotional. He's just like, I'm sorry. He expresses his guilt, and then he just dips. He flies into the sun. He flies into the sun. He flew into the sun. Like he just. Ooh, Icarus flies into the sun. The boy who flew too close to the sun. Woo, big whoop. I was like, all right. Anyways, Cersei offers to make Sprite human with the union mind power that she still has left over. And so Athena and Druig, they decide to go find the rest of the Eternals that live in the galaxy. That like they're all across the galaxy. They're all on the same mission, but most of them don't know except for their Prime Eternal. So they decide to go and find them. And Phastos stays at home with his family. Cersei, Sprite, and Kingo are back together, and then Kingo expresses like his sorrow for like what happened to Icarus, and he feels bad, but he also doesn't feel bad. He stayed true to what he believed in. So that was like really it was cute, whatever. Then they just forgive Kingo for what happened. They just forgive him. I was like, alright, I guess. And Sprite actually goes to school now because she's a kid.
Kingo was a fucking coward. I don't know how you can forgive his ass.
See Cersei with Dane Whitman again.
It's not fucking It Part 2. He didn't slice his wrist and say, listen guys, I can't do it, but I'll be there in spirit. Nah. He kicked it all the way to Brooklyn and bought fucking churros. That's what happened.
He is just so cute. Oh my god, I messed up. I'm so mad. Do you see that? Yeah, so Cersei files with Dane again, and Dane tries to like explain this like secret that he has, because he has like a family secret, and just before he's about to tell her, scariest moment of my life, once again, Arishem the judge comes out of nowhere, pops out of the clouds roll in, they open up, and you see Arishem's like big 6 eyes, the 6 holes in his face, oh my god, and takes Cersei, pulls her out into space, blows all the humans down, takes Cersei, pulls her out into space right in front of Earth, and then you see her with Kingo and Phastos as, let me put it down here, this is what he says. It was scary, but he says he'll be back for judgment. I was like, this is the most menacing ending ever next to Infinity War. Like, this ending was so good. I loved the ending. I loved the way it ended. A lot of people didn't. I loved it. That was so cool. Scary, but it was really cool. I really liked it. Yeah, Dane was just left on Earth. He's just like, what the hell just happened? Like, everybody just saw them take Cersei. Every human that was there in the park, they saw him take Cersei. So, what now? You know what I mean? So basically, Arishem like disappears into a black hole with Cersei, Phastos, and Kingo. So they're gone. All 3 of them are gone. Nobody knows where they're at. Now we jump into the post-credit scene. Yay! Post-credit scene. Well, mid-credit scene, because that's the technical term for it. Like, what happens here? Like, it wasn't spoken about 300 times over on Twitter, on Instagram, on what Facebook, I guess? They probably put it on Facebook too. Reddit? They put it everywhere. Harry Styles is in the MCU. Ooh, I'm so excited. I didn't see Dunkirk, is it? I didn't see Dunkirk, so I don't have a taste of his acting chops at all. When I tell you at all, like, literally the last thing I've seen him in was iCarly. I don't know what he was acting like in Dunkirk. How do I know he's a good actor? Until I watch that movie, I probably won't. I'm telling you, I probably won't. But, good for him, I guess. Makari, Druig, and Athena, while they're looking for Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos, they're looking for them, and they can't find them. A portal brings in Pip the Troll, which is Eros' sidekick in the comics. But yeah, Eros the Titan. Titan, like Thanos, because it's Thanos' brother. Not a lot of people are a big fan of Eros. You'll see why in the comics. I mean, Eros has also similar powers like Druig, mind manipulation, but he uses his powers in a really, really weird way. And when I say weird, I mean like sexual assault weird. Like, trigger warning, I'm so sorry that I have to speak about this, but it is literally...
You described rape as weird.
His storyline in the comics. He literally forces humans, I think is he pansexual in the comics? I don't know. He has sex with women and just doesn't tell them that he's manipulating them to have sex with them. It's really weird. It's scary. It's manipulative. It's assault. It really is. And he has like relations with She-Hulk. Also weird, but he kind of like, he doesn't manipulate her mind, that's one, but he did manipulate her mind to have relations with another person in the, I think it was J. Jonah Jameson's son. Listen, man, the comics are weird. If any of y'all ever decide to, read the comics, don't be surprised if you see anything weirder than what I just told you. But yeah, Eros is not really a fan favorite, but it was really interesting to see that they brought in, a brother of Thanos. Athena's actually the cousin of Thanos in the comics, but I don't think that that's going to be canon because in the post-credit scene, in the mid-credit scene, you see Eros like flirting with Athena. That kind of felt like he was flirting with her, right? It was a little weird. Why would he say that to his cousin? You know what I mean? I don't know. Sweet home Olympia. Eros actually like tells them like he knows a way to find them because he has his own sphere. He's another Eternal. He's probably sent by a Celestial to a planet, but I guess he discovered the truth like everybody else. Yeah, he has his own sphere. And he tells Druig, Makari, and Athena that he knows where they are and that he knows that they're in big trouble. So that's where the scene ends, and you just see Harry Styles smirking, smiling, being Harry Styles, being cute. He actually has nail polish in the scene. If you look at the scene again, he has nail polish while he's holding the sphere, so it was really cute. There's a little like banter with Pip the Troll and Eros I really liked. It was kind of like similar to like Thor and Rocket. Pip the Troll is actually played by Patton Oswalt, so this is like a voice role type of thing. It's not like CGI, or it's not like a CGI Patton Oswalt. It's not like a makeup thing of Patton Oswalt. It's a CGI troll. Like, and it looks so jarring because after the whole movie being a visual spectacle in practical locations, this scene, you look at Pip and you're like, this CGI is really bad. It's really like, I didn't like it. All right, let's talk about the post-credit scene because it was It introduced someone really, really important. Well, two people that are really, really important. Anyways, Dane Whitman, obviously I said it earlier, he is going to become the Black Knight. So the Black Knight wields the ebony blade. The ebony blade has been passed down for centuries. Like, it's a really, really, like, a family heirloom, but it's used very specifically. And I don't know too much about the Black Knight, but I know that he's really cool. The ebony blade has been used by characters like Thor the God Butcher. Thor. Gore the God Butcher. Similar names. I just realized how similar their names are. The Black Knight has ties to Blade himself, and Blade is coming out in a few years, possibly. That was confirmed, like, in Comic-Con, like, 3 years ago, and he's going to be played by Mahershala Ali. And so when Dane Whitman finds the ebony blade, a voice asks him if he is sure he's ready for that, and then Dane turns around, and then that's the scene. It cuts off. But here's the kicker: the voice was Mahershala Ali from Blade. It was confirmed by Chloe Zhao. Here's the article down below. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe that. Are you kidding me? It's Blade. It's Blade. It's Blade. Guys, it's Blade. Like, it's Blade. It is Mahershala Ali as Blade.
Yeah, PG-13 sterilized Blade. I can't wait.
A slither, a taste of Blade, a taste. Do you know what this means?
Literal non-blood, just as bad as "I'm gonna massacre you" coming out of the mouth of Carnage, but he's poking people with a fine, thin point.
Oh my god, Kit Harington, babes. You don't even have to say nothing. You don't have to say because I know you're gonna be in Blade and I'm going to scream. Oh my god, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Okay, that post-credit scene, after I found out that was Blade, 10 times better. 10 times better. I hope it's 10 times better for you now that you know it's Blade. But guys, that is insane. I'm so happy. So happy that happened. Oh my god. You have no idea. If you aren't familiar with Blade, he's half human, half vampire. He's a vampire hunter. He is probably one of the coolest characters in Marvel Comics, period. If you're not familiar with him, and if you want to familiarize yourself without reading the comics, there is an original Blade trilogy played by Wesley Snipes. He played Blade.
Yeah, no shit. Why do people of this like we don't know?
Good at Blade. Anyway, it's probably one of the best
She's a good little consumer. You have to give her some slack.
the best adaptations.
And the third movie was shit, by the way. I don't know. Don't
Everybody knows. Everybody knows it was shit.
Back then we had like Blade, and we had like Spider-Man, the original Sam Raimi Spider, and then we had Fantastic Four, which was really bad. We had the Incredible Hulk, Blade, and Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, probably the best of all of them prior to Marvel Studios. That's just my opinion. All right, it's done. Makeup look done. All right. So now I get to finally talk about my final thoughts on the movie. So I still don't understand why people were so angry about this movie. Why they kept giving them bad reviews. Why the Rotten Tomatoes.
Because it was soulless. It was a soulless cash grab.
And the plot made no sense.
Or it looks like that. In my opinion, I feel like this movie is still really, really good, and I feel like it's really, really worth watching in the theater. I feel like it is probably one of the better ensemble films. I would say it's better than Endgame in a thematic sense, like in the sense that the story is really
Better than Endgame.
Ugh.
Endgame's a mess, but better than Endgame.
really, really good, and it probably will age pretty well. Yeah, I really liked Eternals. I really, really did. I highly recommend you go watch this in IMAX because it should definitely be seen in a theater. I think Chloe Zhao's visual direction was perfect for a movie of the size, of the scope. I really, really like this movie. I would give it a 7 out of 10. Okay, so my opinion has changed drastically. I'm bumping it up to a strong 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
She bumped it up.
I really, really enjoyed it. There were certain things I didn't like, certain things that I did, but you know, you can't always please every single audience member. That's why I'm not like too. I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty perfect for what it was, and I feel like I am really screaming and scratching for more. I really want to see more of these characters or the characters that are left. But I do want to see more of them. I do want to see what happens after the post-credit scenes, both of them.
This person is the reason why Loki's so dog shit. Actually, I can bump that up even further. This is the reason why the MCU is so dog shit right now. People like this.
Yeah.
People like that right there. Right there. Oh, fucking God. Please tell me she's done talking.
I want to know how Arrows ties into everything. I want to know what happens with the Black Knight, with Blade, of course. I definitely would, recommend this to a general audience member, like someone that is not into Marvel like that type of viewer. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're an Eternals.
Somebody who's not into Marvel should go watch a Marvel film.
Specifically, I understand why you might not like it because it really doesn't, give that much homage to Jack Kirby's comics, to Neil Gaiman's comics. Neil Gaiman, I still don't pronounce his last name. I don't know why. Neil Gaiman, not too sure. Don't know. Anyways, I enjoyed it so much, so I hope y'all end up watching this in the theaters or watch it when it comes out on Disney Plus if you can. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank y'all so much for coming back and watching another Marvel Makeup installment. I know I've been slacking hard, but life happens. So yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Oh, she's done more than one Marvel movie.
Subscribe if you want to. Join the initiative.
Review. I'm not surprised, but
because it's nice here. We talk about nerdy stuff.
How do people get through these?
That's really all there is to this channel.
I know how I got through it.
About geeky stuff, that's what I like to do. That's what I like to talk about.
Alcohol and wings.
Let me know. I'm definitely.
Chicken.
My thoughts on WandaVision's series finale.
Yeah, but Ed hanging out. Oh, another fact from Wikipedia. Nick is losing his mind right now.
What?
Nick is just losing his mind in my chat right now. Like, almost all of these messages are just Nick.
Don't drag crackhead Sneeko into this, woman. What?
All right. That's the last one. Oh. Somehow I made it. Somehow I made it. Is he okay? Nick?
Your eyes are red as fuck.
Yes. I'm sleepy. Very sleepy.
You look beat the hell up.
I always look beat the hell up. What do you mean? You've never not a time I don't look like this. In any case, I survived. And so, the coral will retire for the evening. Podcast is going to be on Sunday. I didn't want to do it before because depression has been whooping my ass. But,
I mean, it wouldn't if you got more sleep.
well, see, the problem is someone doesn't want to sleep on time. So because of that...
You, right?
No, my mother.
Mm.
I'm not gonna make a grown adult do what she needs to do, but here's the problem. I have to then get up and do whatever it is that she's screaming for me to do, because her normal result for any decision that she chooses to make that involves me needing to do something is to forget that I have a job where I can't immediately react. So she's gonna keep screaming my name over the internet until I go do whatever it is that she thinks I need to go do. And usually, half the time, it means when she decides to eat late, when she doesn't eat on time, she then decides to procrastinate until she decides to be hungry. And then she'll go through the entire rigmarole of her ritual to sleep, and then she will not sleep. And then she'll randomly wake up at a period of the day, or the period of the night, and then she will watch her cell phone, or watch cable television, obsessively, for 5 to 7 hours straight. Rinse, repeat. That's what causes my anxiety and some of my lack of sleep. I need more sleep. I'm not getting enough sleep.
Yeah, so I got the exact opposite life, right? No one calls, no one bothers me while I'm doing my streams. Well, unless it's one of my sisters asking for something, but it's usually nothing.
I wish I knew what that was like.
I'm sorry, but NyQuil.
I'm not going to drug my mother.
Oh, it's a joke.
Okay, so everybody is already in the Discord. Podcast on Sunday. There's a message that will bring you directly to the link. If not, you know where to find it. But more importantly, should you want to be able to redeem a $20 submission to allow me to... Well, actually, not allow me. Force me to review some cringe that you choose to present to me. Subscribe to star.com/SinglePlayerCarl. And also, you can give donations as well. Recurring or one time on Ko-fi.com. That's SinglePlayerCarl. Down there on the bottom right of your screen. Right there. Yeah. So, I will be leaving. I am going now, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow. You do not know my main moon, but you can feel it. You can see it. You can touch it. See it. It feels it. Okay, I'm going now. Goodbye, Jay.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. You went through something similar. I only wish you could feel it the way that I feel it. It makes it worse. Bye, everybody.